Welcome back to the channel, folks. In today's video, we are reviewing Samsung's all-new Galaxy Watch 8. This is also called the regular Watch 8. Let's go ahead and jump in. First things first, the design. That's the very first thing that's gonna hit you when you look at the Galaxy Watch 8 here, especially if you are familiar with the previous models. This is a complete move away from what we have been accustomed to seeing with Samsung over the years. And I gotta tell you this, I like it. You know, when I first saw this, when they first dropped it and I saw the commercial, I was not a fan. But when I first got it in hands and I actually put it on my wrist, I don't necessarily have very thick or large wrists. You know, a lot of basketball players don't. So I have pretty thin wrists, making this look pretty nice on my arm. It's now more of a squircle. You get your choice of two sizes here, the 44mm and the 40. You know, the slightly smaller one. The watch itself is fairly small, right? The dimensions here, you're looking at 46 by 43 by 8.6 millimeter and a weight of 34 grams for the 44 millimeters and 30 grams for the 40 millimeters. So definitely smaller than what we had last year. Also thinner than what we had before. It's supposed to be, you know, more protected than what we also had with the previous generation. And the big miss here is the rotating bezel. There's no rotating bezel on this one here, but it still does have a rotating or a digital bezel, so you can still rotate your finger or go around the display there and it performs the same function as the rotating bezel. You have these bands with the quick locks that Samsung implemented a couple of years ago. Extremely convenient. You know, you just snap this thing in and snap it out when you need to take them off. The frame here is aluminum and the glass that you have here is sapphire crystal, so it's pretty solid stuff. Also added features here, you have IP68 dust tight and water resistant, so you're definitely immersible at up to 50 meters. As you would imagine, it is still EKG or ECG certified. You know, you have that blood pressure monitor, very good stuff here. And that's pretty much it with the design. As far as the platform goes, you have an Exynos chipset. That's the Exynos W1000. You have Android Wear OS 6 here, and of course on top of that you still have the One UI 8 watch skin, which in my experience so far has been pretty neat. No crash, it's pretty intuitive. I like it. As far as the size goes, you have 32 gigs of internal storage and 2 gigs of RAM. So it's a watch. We're not expecting this to have, you know, crazy amount of RAM anyways. Battery size here is 435 milliamp power, so pretty decent, especially for this size here. And we can move on to kind of the special features, or the features that actually make this generation of Galaxy watches very special. Starting off with what everyone has been talking about, the antioxidant sensor. It's kind of a truly interesting new feature here. You place your thumb on the back of the watch here in order to get that, you know, your score, your antioxidant score, because that's where the sensor is. And by the way, this has not been FDA approved just yet. Now, in my experience, it works, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I consider myself to be, you know, healthy. I stay in shape and I try to eat healthy, but apparently I'm still scoring pretty low in terms of that antioxidant score. And that's not something that only I saw. I talked to other people who have, you know, the Galaxy Watch 8 here, who are pretty much saying the same thing. It could be accurate just because I never tested it before, or it's just not ready for use. That's just my take. Now, a word from my channel sponsor, Keeper Security. Most people think Keeper is just a password manager, but honestly, that barely scratches the surface. Keeper could do so much to organize and secure your digital life. Sure, Keeper locks down your passwords with zero-knowledge encryption, but it can also securely store payment cards and IDs, you know, upload sensitive files into your encrypted vault, completely safe and under your control. And when you need to share something important like a passport scan or, you know, a tax document, you can do so securely with just a tap. It's like having a digital safe that's always with you on every device that you own. Passwords, payment info, personal memories, all of it locked down, yet instantly accessible when you need them. So if you want a smarter way to organize, protect, and simplify your digital life, check out Keeper Security and make sure to use my special discount code IvanCam50, all in one word, so that you can save 50% off when you sign up. I'm gonna make sure that I have that link in the description for you. But anyways, so you get additional features here, including, Gemini. Now you have AI here with Gemini, and that's just a major upgrade. That's something that we had on the phones, but not on the watches here. So you can essentially call out commands and Gemini would execute them. You can start your workouts. You can pretty much the same things that you do with your phone, except it's now with your watch. And because it's integrated in that, you can do things that are more related to your health and, to activities. Let's say you're a runner, for example, like myself, I do run marathons. So if I want to call out, I want to set some goals, I can tell Gemini, I can kind of set that out loud with this. And I think that's pretty cool. And of course, on top of that, you still have access to all of the other things that you had with previous generations, right? EKG, the GPS, all of the other things that you had with the previous watches. And all of that with a software that is pretty solid here. So far, I like it. I also did some runs with this watch here, and it's pretty solid. GPS actually kicks off exactly where it's supposed to be. And the same distance that I've been running with this along with my regular Galaxy Watch Ultra here. And from the get-go, things are not the same, right? So the Galaxy Watch is either kicking off earlier than this, or this one kicks off earlier than that. But after a couple of miles, running, they kind of, everything kind of just levels out and they start showing kind of the same data. So I'm not necessarily concerned in terms of the performance of the Galaxy Watch here. I think it's doing essentially everything that my Galaxy Watch Ultra here has been doing. It's doing that as well. And on top of it, because it's lighter and it's smaller, I'm liking this one for my runs, especially for my long runs. Usually when I go for my long runs, after a while, this starts, I can feel it on my arm, right? So it's nice to take long runs with the Galaxy Watch 8 here, and so far so good. The back here also is supposed to have been improved so that contact is fully made between this and your skin so you can get accurate measurements. So that's good there. And as I mentioned, these bands snap in pretty neatly. The only downside with this is, for some reason, I thought it was supposed to be the same technology as what we had with last year's model. That do snap in the same way, but for some reason I'm having a hard time in the bands from last year. Apparently I did a quick search and apparently you need some type of adapter. I'm not sure, I haven't verified that, but so far bands here seem to be compatible with this, but the previous ones won't be compatible with this unless you have that adapter. You have two buttons on the side here to help you navigate through your watch, kick off your workouts, and all of that good stuff. The display actually pops. I was surprised to see this, especially given the size of the watch here. It's a small watch, but it pops because the brightness here can go up to 3,000 nits, right? That is pretty bright. But anyways, at the end of the day, this is a nice watch. Personally, I'm going to be using this for my runs because, like I said, it's light. It comes with all of the new stuff here, and the sensor seems to be a tiny bit more accurate, probably because it touches more of my skin, given the design that you have on the back there. So looking forward to continuing to use this. It's almost as if Samsung is kind of shifting things, leaning more towards, the other manufacturers are doing. Pixel, for example, the Pixel Watch, kind of this type of design where it's minimal, roundy, and Fitbits and things like that. So this leans more towards those as opposed to, let's say, what I have here with the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. It's thicker, it's bigger, it's larger compared to what we have here. So they may be separating the different levels of these watches so that as soon as you look, you'll be able to tell which is which. But anyways, that's just my take. Let me know with any questions you may have. I'll do my best to answer those. Certainly hoping that this was informative. Let me go ahead and catch you in the comment section like I always do. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm going to catch you in the comment section like I always do. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.